There's no question that on my channel, I talk about GMC Sierra and Chevy Silverado trucks the majority of the time. However, I am definitely still a GM guy, and when there's an exciting GM vehicle to talk about, I want to talk about it. And no more exciting vehicle that I can remember in the last while than the one they just talked about and released yesterday, which is a 2023 Cadillac Escalade V-Series. We're talking some crazy horsepower, crazy features, and an equally crazy price. But with all that, let's get going. All right, so you may remember a few months ago, and if you don't, well, I'm reminding you that I did do a video talking about the fact that they were going to be coming out with this Escalade V-Series anytime soon, and anytime soon was actually yesterday, and some pretty crazy numbers in terms of the horsepower, like I said, and the torque, and the 0 to 60 time, and some of the new features that are involved in this. But one of the things I did was when I talked about it in the past, I estimated the horsepower at a certain rating that I think a lot of you thought I was maybe overestimating the horsepower at. In fact, I underestimated the horsepower rating, which is crazy to me to think, and the 0 to 60 time is out of this world for a vehicle of this size. But first and foremost, of course, we already know that the Escalade is the pinnacle of SUVs. There's no question about it. Tons of crazy features in this vehicle. But what I want to talk about today is I don't want to go over all that because we already know there's a lot of those. And if you ever want to check out, I've done walk around videos, of course, of the current Escalade. But let's talk about today and let's focus on what they've changed for this V-Series, this Sport Edition, first ever Sport Edition SUV from Cadillac, and how it differentiates itself from our current Cadillac. Well, let me go down a list of some of the things that Cadillac is saying that they have changed to make it obviously different. First and foremost, it's going to have unique V-Series front and rear fascias. Of course, you can see that as compared to the regular Escalade. Quad exhaust outlets. It's got the exclusive 6-piston Brembo front brakes, Edge red brake calipers, unique 22-inch aluminum wheels, standard magnetic ride control 4.0, and air ride adaptive suspension with uniquely tuned rear air springs and damper hardware, as well as V-Series specific software calibrations. It's got selectable V mode with driver customizable performance driving settings, lowered suspension, and active exhaust valves that control the throaty V8 growl. V-Series badging on driver and front passenger doors, liftgate, and throughout the interior, including the steering wheel. Platinum trim interior featuring zebra wood decor with semi-aniline leather on all 3 rows and heated, ventilated, and massaging front seats. Escalade's signature curved OLED with 38 inches of total diagonal display. By the way, if you haven't seen these screens, they are phenomenal. They even have an augmented reality navigation in these things, which is just, I've never seen anything like that in a vehicle, and I've tried it out a few times. It's pretty amazing. Past that, of course, it says it has the AKG Studio Reference 36 speaker audio system, and of course the available Super Cruise hands-free driver assistance technology, including trailering and automatic lane change capabilities. That's going to be coming later in the availability. But the Super Cruise, by the way, if you haven't already checked it out, I did just a video a couple days ago when I was down in California where I got to try the Super Cruise in the GMC Sierra Denali Ultimate. It blew my mind. I was on 4 or 5 lanes of traffic, whatever it was, and keeping me in my lane and changing lanes for me and speeding up and slowing down. The thing is crazy, and it goes unsaid that it needs to be on this Cadillac Escalade V, of course. Now, as far as the engine, because of course that's what a lot of you want to know about, and what's most exciting about this vehicle as far as I'm concerned, what basically they say is the Escalade V's 6.2 liter hand-built supercharged and intercooled engine builds on a legacy of supercharged V8 engines offered in the Cadillac V-Series models, those being the 2nd and 3rd generation CTS-V models, the XLR-V, and most recently the CT5 Blackwing. But here's the crazy part. This is rated at a GM estimated 682 horsepower with 653 foot-pound of torque. That is insane as far as I'm concerned, and very exciting. I cannot wait to try one of these things. Also, though, just talking about the motor a little bit more, what GM basically says is the Escalade, the rest of the engine is designed to support the high output and greater cylinder pressure that come with forced induction, including a durable forged steel crankshaft, forged steel connecting rods, and forged aluminum pistons. The aluminum cylinder heads are stronger and handle heat better than conventional castings. The heads also feature lightweight titanium intake valves. A 10-speed automatic transmission pairs with the engine and features calibration for the unique power band characteristics of its supercharging system. Not only that, but they're talking about this being, as far as I can read, an full-time all-wheel drive vehicle. And basically what they say about that is this. They say the transmission sends transferred torque to an advanced full-time active all-wheel drive system that splits torque between the front and rear wheels for optimal traction and driver control in all conditions. The system varies the torque split depending on conditions, but some torque is always directed to the front wheels. So that's a little bit different as well, because obviously, we've had in these larger SUVs lately had this selectable option for that. And then along with that, though, is we have different settings. So different settings depending on, your steering, your braking, the motor. And I'll just quickly talk about those two. And basically what they're saying is the suspension settings, or how about this? Drivers can personalize their experience behind the wheel through the exclusive V mode, which drivers access via a button on the center console ahead of the transmission shifter. It lets drivers tailor their preferred performance driving mode. And it also automatically lowers the ride height by nearly 0.8 inches or 20 millimeters. Adjustments available with the V mode include suspension settings, which are Tour or Sport. They have steering settings, which is Tour or Sport, which feature unique steering calibrations. They have the brake pedal feel can change via Tour or Sport. The engine sound can change. You have Stealth, Tour or Sport. All-wheel drive is either Tour, Sport, or Snow and Ice. And then lastly, engine performance is either Tour, Sport, or Snow and Ice. And there's a V-Mode series as well. Well, not necessarily a V-Mode series, but they call it a launch control via the V-Mode. And says basically, additionally, a launch control feature is available via V-Mode that lets the Escalade V perform optimal acceleration runs from a stop. Drivers access this feature when in V mode by holding down the brake pedal and then applying the accelerator pedal fully, and when the traction control lamp begins to flash, releasing the brake pedal. So what does that V mode do? How does that get you from 0 to 60 miles an hour? How fast that is, I should say. How about 0 to 60 in 4.4 seconds for a massive SUV? That's putting you back in your seat, no question. If you can't tell, I'm obviously very excited about this vehicle, right? I can't wait to hopefully get a seat in one, because I don't think I can afford one. And that is because of the price tag that's coming along with this vehicle. But I think it's somewhat to be expected. We already know what the price of a current Escalade is, especially if you load one up. Now, this one has obviously got every feature you can imagine on the Escalade. I think maybe Super Cruise might be one of the only options if that is the case. So it's going to come with just about every other feature, of course, that you can load into this, which has more features than anything else I know out there right now as far as SUVs are concerned. So we know the price is expensive, but how about a starting price of $149,990, $149,990 US, including destination fees? I'm a little scared to know what the actual Canadian pricing on this one's going to be, but regardless of that, I think it's obviously to be expected. This is a unique vehicle. They're not making these for the everyday person, of course, an everyday driver, I should say. Myself included, unfortunately. But again, very exciting news on this one. What I find interesting about it, though, of course, is the high horsepower, high output of this vehicle is super exciting. But I'm also interested to see when they do come out with either Yukon Denali, Tahoe, or Escalade in the electrified version, how those numbers are going to compare, because I have a feeling like, we're going to be into a similar price. We're going to be well over $100,000 for one of those vehicles in an electric version, but we're going to have some pretty crazy torque and horsepower coming out of those as well. But again, there is no replacement. I was going to say for displacement, but that's not the case, but replacement for that gas engine, that sound, that feel that you get from the gas engine. But anyways, thanks so much for watching this video. If you have any questions, please drop them below. I would love to hear about them and maybe help me learn something if I didn't already know. As always, thanks for watching and stay tuned for the next video. Take care.